Psychologist Dr. James Pennebaker talks about the depression that he spiraled into after his marriage unraveled in his book entitled Opening Up. Now, he did something that brought him back to a state of emotional balance. The answer may surprise you, and we'll talk about that in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, this is Toni and welcome to Action for Aging, where we're tackling life's most underestimated season with intentional action and a big dose of self-love. If it's your first time here and you're searching for a channel dedicated to the mature season of life, then welcome, this is your community. So Dr. Pennebaker did do something that brought him back to a state of emotional balance. What was this thing that he did? He got out, now this was years ago, his typewriter. So there's something definitely physical that occurs and not just emotional when we get our thoughts down on paper, especially if it involves any kind of trauma or painful emotion. And while the process itself may temporarily increase your discomfort level, in the long run, it's better for you. As 2018 gets underway, I am going to go ahead and start a journal this year. I purchased this one right here, and I am going to share with you today what I intend to include in my journal. I'm not looking at it as just a diary, and so I want to share those components with you and give you some food for thought. So let's talk about why we would journal. As I already explained, Dr. Pennebaker did experience both physical and emotional improvement simply by writing down his thoughts. There have been studies done on this, and what they found was that patients who were journaling, not only were they emotionally more balanced, but they were experiencing physical relief as well. So why? Why would this work, right? They don't exactly know what the link is, but it is suspected that it has to do with the body's natural stress response. By getting some of the emotions out on paper and some of the clutter of the brain out on paper, the brain processes that as a decrease in stress response. We know that stress is directly related to disease. So that is most likely why you're seeing those physical improvements simply from writing some things down. So how do we go about this? I'm going to share with you what I'm doing, and I hope that it inspires you to consider something similar in your year to come. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to just find a journal that inspires you. Now, I got this one. I love the color. It has an embossed cross. The rest of it is just a typical journal with lines in it for writing. One thing that I would tell you to look for as a feature would be some type of bookmark, okay? So that you can quickly get to the pages that you want to write in. Find something that just really inspires you, that you're going to enjoy spending lots of time with. This is going to be your new BFF, so that's another reason I would say find the one that you love and go ahead and get that. I'm not going to be approaching my journal like a Dear Diary. Do you remember when we were little and we would keep our diary and we would write down our deep thoughts, right? It felt good to do that. It did feel good to share that with your friend, right? This was like your friend. And I used to write in mine and I would put it under the bed, under my mattress. And I would tell things to this friend that I wouldn't tell anybody else. There's a need, guys. There's a deep need within us to get out what we're feeling. And this is just such a wonderful way to do it. Now, there are some areas of planning that I'm going to do as I go into my journal for 2018. Some things that I think about in advance before the year gets underway. And there are 4 areas that all begin with F that I am going to have as a kind of a list, okay, in my journal. Let me just tell you what the areas are. They are faith, finances, family, and fitness. So financial, I do want to give some consideration to savings, how much we're going to save and what we would use that money for intentionally. Another thing would be home improvement. I definitely have a plan for that, and it's going to begin in January. Our house is really needing some improvement. The first thing that we're going to do is to get some new flooring for downstairs. So I have plans for that. So there's home management under finances, business goals. For you, if you're still in the workforce, you may want to sit down and consider some personal areas of growth. For me, it would be my channel and some of the things I'd like to accomplish here at Action for Aging. So I'm going to do that. And then another area that I'm considering for financial would be charity or ministry. Another planner that I want to include in my journal, and by the way, I would keep these in the pages in the back. I like to flip my journal upside down, so I'm still turning to the left, and I like to put my planners in the back, and that way I can just flip my book over and refer to them when I need to. The next area would be spirituality, or for me, faith. And I definitely want to do some planning for that. So one thing would be gratitude. All of us should be counting our blessings. And that's something I plan to log in my journal every day. Reading through an inspirational work. For me, that would be the Bible. For you, it might be something else. But planning ahead so that I accomplish that as a goal in 2018, that will go on my planner, my faith planner. Another thing would be to identify a spiritual journey. Is there somewhere this year that you might want to go, right? On a spiritual journey. I have a friend who does a retreat. She just enjoys going there as kind of a time to get away and just be in touch with her own spirit, to kind of quiet herself, to get some planning done. And she said that it's wonderful, that nobody bothers her. So I would encourage you to think about that. And then there is volunteering. Is there a ministry? Is there a food bank, a homeless shelter, a battered women's shelter, anything like that? Even if animals are your passion, they certainly deserve our love and attention as well. So I would encourage you to think about that. So that's my faith planning. Then another area would be fitness. We joined the Y. And so for me this year, I want to be able to log 3 times a week. Family would be that last area of planning that I want to do in advance. One of the things I want to think through this year is 12 points of encouragement, one for each month. An example would be this. What are we all doing to maintain and strengthen our most precious relationships? So those are 4 areas of planning. And I'll just show you that in the back of my journal, right here, I have one of those planning papers. Now this is something completely different. This one here is not one of my 4 F's. This one, I don't know if you can see it, is the 2018 books to read. And I will just log the book, the day that I started the book and the day that I finished the book. Now, there are 7 areas that I plan to journal daily. And I'm just going to go over these quickly, and they may inspire you. Number 1, a timeline. So I just want to log some quick notes of my day. Now, in our old days when we were small, when we were young girls, young guys, we might have said that that was, our Dear Diary, right? This happened, blah, blah, blah today. Just a quick note. These probably won't be even in sentence form. It's just, historical events, milestones, anything like that would be on the timeline. Number 2, a favorite quote or point of inspiration. Now, I gave some thought to this because I want to do more than just have that inspiring quote in front of me. I want to feel that it really impacted me somehow. So what I'm going to do this year, since I'm at Action for Aging, right, and I'm all about taking action in this phase of life, is that I'm going to follow an ACT principle, A-C-T. But I'm going to follow it backwards. So the T will be to take the note, to write down the quote, okay? Real simple. Backing up to the C, that is going to be where I consider the quote and I think about it, kind of meditate on it, and what is it that I can learn from this inspiring quote? And finally, act. How does it challenge me to act? So that's something that I'm going to write down with each quote, and hopefully I'll be able to actually put into action some of the wisdom that I tap into. Number 3 is the more heavy one. So number 3 is going to be where I journal challenges and struggles. What I want to do is, first of all, just log it. Just get it out of my head and get it down on paper. Then what I want to do is very carefully step back and try to switch my brain to an objective mode as much as I possibly can, so that I can really reflect on that situation, what would that situation look like if I weren't me going through it, right? The reason that I want to do that is because I don't think you can move to possible solutions that will be effective for us, for healing, for processing, if we're not able to objectively come up with some solutions. And then I want to give some thought to future prevention. What is it that I could do in the future? Number 4 would be prayer request. And if I didn't mention it in the faith part of my planning, I will have a prayer request log similar to the book log that I just showed you. That is something that I will also be doing daily. Number 5, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I am going to be logging every single day what I am thankful for. It's so important, guys, for us to do that. Number 6, dreams. I don't know about you, but I get so frustrated when I cannot remember a dream that I had. And how many times do you get up in the middle of the night and you say, I'm going to remember this. I know I am. I'm very conscious and awake, and I've registered it in my thoughts, and I've said it 3 times, and I'm not going to forget it. Have you ever done that? I have. Guess what? You forget anyway. So I will keep my journal by my bed at night, and if I have a dream, I'm going to take a second to write it down because I'm curious what the heck is going on in my head while I'm sleeping. I want to know how they're guiding me. I want to know what I can learn from them. So I need to be able to have some recollection of them. And number 7, share a memory. Guys, go ahead and share a special memory. Jot it down. There's nothing more precious than our good memories. So, let that daily journal also be a reflection of the experiences that you've had that will be a treasure for somebody. I do want to say one more thing in terms of painful memories or traumas or any type of emotional writing that you do. If there's anything that you feel that you don't want to write down because if somebody found your journal, it's just so personal and you don't want them to see that memory or those thoughts that you have, I would encourage you to still write them down. Write them down as a grievance if you have to. I think there's really something to being able to get something out of our head and released. So if that's something that you're concerned about, I would say still write it down and find a way to make peace with that written memory. If you want to burn it. If you want to rip it up and throw it away or crumble it into a ball and, biodegradable, throw it out the window going down the road. I'm not encouraging littering really, but you get my point. Write it down and release it. Don't keep it inside your head. Don't keep it inside, okay? And then a couple of other areas you could write about travels that you've taken. You could log food. So if it helps you out to just be aware of what you're eating, go ahead and write that down as well. And then don't be afraid to jazz it up a little bit, doodle on the outside edges, words that inspire you, words that need released, words that reflect how you're feeling in the moment. I love to doodle. Do you know they have books out there now that teach you how to doodle? Like you can learn how to doodle in a font, and your own font though is good enough. You know what I'm saying? Make some bubble letters, get out the colored pencils if that's therapeutic to you with all the adult coloring that people are doing. Do that in your journal if it's in any way helpful to you. So guys, consider joining me in 2018. If you think that you might be doing that, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I would love to see your journal if you have a channel and how you're planning to use it. If you don't have a channel, just leave it in the comments. Let me know what you plan to buy or what you did buy, or even if you have something on hand that you can already use, and how you plan to make use of that for yourself as the new year gets underway. All right? Again, if it's your first time here, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button below. I have a personal goal for my channel this year. I would like to hit 1,000 subscribers. And so if you can help me out with that goal, I would appreciate that so much. Feel free to share this video as well. And if you're watching and you're younger, hey, you've got a mom and dad, send them on over, okay? Let them know that there is content out there being created just for them. I release new videos every Sunday night, sometime after 8 p.m., usually very late at night. Check Monday mornings. That's always a good time on my channel. And I'm also releasing bonus videos throughout the week as well. So keep a lookout for those, okay? And as always, guys, please remember that you are special and you are so very valuable in this season of life that we're in right now. So act on it. Goodbye, friends.